I'm here to read Caps for Sale, told and illustrated by Esfer Slobakina. That's a good one. Caps for Sale. Once there was a peddler who sold caps. He was not like any ordinary peddler, carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First he had on his own checkered cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, and then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. Those are my favorite. He walked up and down the streets holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. And he went along and he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody even wanted a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said. And he walked out of town, slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place to rest," he thought. So he sat down very slowly under the tree and he leaned back, little by little, against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First his checker cap, then the gray caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps, and on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep, and he slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure that his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checkered cap. He looked to the right of him. There were no caps. He looked to the left of him. There were no caps. He looked in back of him. No caps. And he looked behind the tree. No caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey was a gray cap, or a brown cap, or a blue cap, or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys, and the monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking his finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys, they only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, 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 tss." This made the peddler angry, so he shook his hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their hands and back at him and said, "Tss, tss, 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 tss." Now he felt quite angry. He stomped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, 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 tss." By this time, The peddler was really very, very angry. He stomped both his feet and he shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, 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 tss." At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap, and all the gray caps, and all the brown caps, and all the blue caps, and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up the caps and put them back on his head. First his own checker cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and then the red caps on the very top. And slowly he walked back to town, calling, "Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end. Thank you.